Welcome back.
Good to be back. How you guys doing?
It's a good group. It's our second to last time we're doing this year.
I know. I'm getting sad, man. I'm gonna have to come and visit during
Please
basketball.
do.
Yeah.
Just hang out in the crowd.
Just come and just heckle KY a little bit.
He'll take. Let's start with the breaking news. CFP rankings come out on Tuesdays, and BYU's 14th this week, down a bit from last week, but you're in the mix, as we say.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the final, so we still got some work to do, obviously, and especially after last week. But just happy that I get to coach these guys, and we'll respond to it. It'll be fine. I think we're going to be in a really good mindset when we take the field this Saturday. I'm looking forward to the guys performing.
It's your first bounce back opportunity of the season, and that's a challenge. It's great to be 9-0.
Yeah,
but the first loss brings something to you.
Exactly. Difficult to lose a game. I mean, I don't think I ever wanted to lose ever again, but now that it's here, we got to learn from it. Obviously, we know we didn't play our best. That's my job as head coach to get us there. But I like the way that the guys respond after the game in the locker room. I like their mindset when we got to work on Monday. Great practice, one of our best practices of the year today. So I think this is going to be really exciting for our guys to bounce back. And a lot will be said about our team, how we face adversity. These guys have been used to some of that and some doubters, and so it's a good place for us to be right now.
Interesting, you said one of the best practices of the season today, because some of the vibe coming out of last week was maybe it was tough to kind of get back after the Utah win to where you were practicing at your best. What do you think about last week compared to this week?
Yeah, it's probably true. I mean, I think it's hard when you're going throughout the whole year, and it's difficult to keep winning, and that's why it's not an easy thing to do. And I mean, you look at even the Chiefs, that they lost the game, so that's part of it. We're all human. I think the goal of trying to stay humble and stay hungry, the guys have tried their best, and sometimes you go up against a team like Kansas that had their back against the wall. I mean, a lot wasn't going well for them from the year, and then they were able to try to turn it around, and they have to win out to go to a bowl game. And so to beat Iowa State, that's a ranked team, and then beat us, that's ranked at our home, and now they're going to face Colorado, that's a ranked team. I mean, it doesn't get easier for them, but I know Lance Leipold and their team, and Jeff Grimes, AJ Stewart, they're on that staff, so they know us really well, in the Kansas on the Kansas staff. So it was going to be a tough matchup, but we didn't help ourselves with some of the things some of the mistakes that we made. But that's the game of football. I mean, you have to be able to bounce back, and as difficult as the loss was, you got to learn from it. But you also got to praise some of the wonderful things that we saw in the game. And one of the best things that we saw is that our fans are awesome. We had some really big-time, high-profile recruits that were there, and they enjoyed the entire game. Even though we lost, they said nothing but they sang the praises of our fans and how awesome it was to be part of that. And I think it'll be helpful. It's just to have those recruits there and everyone just feeling the vibe of the stadium. It's super special. And we got one more home game, but we got to take care of business going on the road this weekend.
Another thing we saw was that the Big 12 was a deep league, right? The 3-6 team beats two ranked teams in a row and plays well down the stretch. It is a really good football conference.
Yeah, and then they were one of the ones that was picked to be in the top. I mean, I can't remember how the preseason rankings went, but they're one of the favored teams to
they were in the top tier, yeah,
to possibly win the conference. And so a lot of it flipped upside down, and no one was really talking about Arizona State or BYU, but at the beginning of the year, and now the game becomes really important. So there's a lot of parity in this league, and so anyone can beat anybody at any time, and you need to take care of your job, and everyone's got to do their best. And this was great evidence of it, that it'll be a great learning moment for us. And I don't want to do too much learning though that way. I'd rather learn different. I'd rather learn the best during the wins, but you have to take advantage of the opportunity to learn from this and give credit to where it's due with Kansas. And just luckily we got another game coming up.
Now, like you said, you have the teams picked 13th and 16th back in the summer, playing in basically what comes down to like almost an elimination game for the conference championship. So it's big time.
Yeah, a lot of fun. That's what makes this conference awesome.
Well, it was BYU's first setback of the 2024 season. The Kansas Jayhawks leaving LaVell Edwards Stadium with a 17-13 win on Saturday. Let's take a look at some of the Cougs' top player performances from that game, though, presented by Waystar. And we're focusing on a BYU defense that held Kansas to its lowest offensive numbers of the season in multiple categories. We start with the D-line. Two of the top three tacklers were Tyler Batty and Blake Mangelson. They combined for 2 tackles for loss. John Nelson had a PBU and a hurry. Logan Lutui at TFL. That was a good backfield that the BYU D-line helped keep in check.
Yeah, and I mean, they like I said, the lowest output. These guys have been putting up a lot of yards, even though they weren't winning a lot of the games. The losses were really close losses to begin with, and we knew that they could put up points and they could get some yards. And so I think defense was able to do some good things offensively. We did some good things. We just didn't finish. We didn't finish the drives, and you know, you want to get points in drives and not turnovers, and you want to get touchdowns, not field goals. But we've been really good in the red zone, except for the last 2 games, and so we've got to get it figured out and fix it. And I don't care if they practice in the red zone the rest of the time. That's where we got to finish it, and that's how you get points on the scoreboard.
Let's stick with the BYU defense and head from front to back and take a look at linebacker from Saturday night. The trio of Glasgow, Kelly, and Taggart combined for 15 stops, a TFL, and a pass breakup. And it's been so great to count on these guys as your starters pretty much game in, game out this season.
Yeah, they've been solid, and just the way they work together. I mean, we have a very deep linebacking core, and to have these 3 lead the way, it's been nice. But we know we can count on other guys if they get tired or if we need them. But this is the way that they've been able to work and the way that they communicate, and they've grasped the scheme. It's super special. They're all underclassmen too. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, eligibility-wise, I was going to say, who comes back next year of these 3?
Yeah, they all do.
That's amazing.
And I think, you know, looking at the entire group, we got a lot of guys coming back, and so we'll worry about that later. Right now, we got a season to finish still, but even with all that being said, and the good things that the defense did, there's some things that they know they can do better. That first drive was that's not our defense, and you know, I like how they played the rest of the way, but we left some big plays out there that we could have made, and you know, there's room for improvement in every phase, in all 3 phases. That
first drive they had was their only full field touchdown drive of the night. They got that short 3-yard field after the funky quick kick situation, but other than that, defense was pretty locked down. Let's go to the DBs. We're hitting all 3 groups. Tied for the national lead in picks. As a team, BYU ranks 3rd nationally in team pass efficiency defense, and yes, the DBs can tackle as well. Crew Wakely, who left the game a little later, had a strong game. The INTs grab a lot of attention, Coach. We'll see a Mori Bamba pass breakup here. Mark Collins, we're going to see in a second with beautiful pick, a toe tap. That's 17 picks for BYU on the year. You've had at least 1 interception in every game this year. Here's the Collins pick.
Yeah, and I like that. It's just you know, different guys. I mean, you see Mark, that's his 2nd pick that he's been able to get his toes in and make a big play. But you know, when the play comes their way and they're able to make the interception, these guys capitalize on it, and we just need to keep that momentum going.
Some key stats from the game coming your way now, presented by Smarty, Kansas and BYU this past Saturday. And yeah, the stats show that BYU did play an outstanding defensive game in particular. The yardage numbers you will certainly take. It all comes down to points, but Kansas was really challenged to do what they have been doing very well in the games leading up to BYU. The margin, turnover margin, ends up being a big, again, you were -1 there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and just the you know, overall, just the feeling we knew we could have played better. But that you don't get a second chance in this, you know. So you got to take it out on the next opponent. It happens to be Arizona State, and that's what we plan on doing.